Listen, I'm just as bad. It's totally okay. More so, probably.
Yep.
But we had a breakthrough today, and things should lighten up a little bit significantly.
Lucky you.
Well, it's cost me a lot of hair.
I don't have any left.
I know,
Right, you
right?
guys-
So, see, you understand.
My wife made a comment today. I'm like, oh, at least I'm not Mike.
Wow!
Sorry.
That's not nice at all.
With all due respect.
Oh, said no one that ever meant to give respect to anybody.
I said with all due respect. Might be the best line in a movie ever.
Are you guys ready?
Oh, I guess Jesus.
Probably not. You guys ready?
Did-
You're ready, right? He looks like he's ready to go. It's already recording.
all right, ready on the TV?
Mike for DJ.
Yep, you're good to go.
He's got one. All right. Good evening. Gonna call to order the November 17th Community Preservation Committee meeting at 6:32 p.m.
I'll make a motion to open.
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
All right. So first order of business, we have public comment on the Crosstown Trail project. So I assume that's probably why a lot of you are here. If you want, just head up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and
Green means the mic's on. Yep.
Awesome. Hi, how are we doing? My name's Emilio Dunn, and I am from 358 Center Street. And we're here to discuss the Crosstown Trail that we've recently become aware of. I'd like to open with, before anything else, I'd ask a simple factual question. Was the town in negotiations with the previous owners of our property at 358 Center Street regarding an easement? And what was their answer if so?
do you have any information on that, Mike?
Am I supposed to answer that?
I'm asking if you have, well, it was.
No, I don't have any information on that.
Okay.
I
Piers,
have an answer. Mr. Baskin was approached, and Mr. Baskin said no, and that was 5 years ago.
Who's
On
that?
Debbie Webster, 45 Wood Street.
okay. All right.
As I know.
Okay.
Let's just,
So, with that said, that's good to know, right? We did notice that in the proposal for the project, it did say in negotiations. And so that's why I asked that question, right? And so, with that, it does definitely confirm that ideally there was some approach, right? And with that said, and if they did clearly say no, we do find it extremely surprising that the trail alignments continue to be drawn over our property as the new property owners of 358 Center Street, right? It's extremely surprising. We were equally surprised that no one reached out to us as the current owners before the maps were created showing the trail corridor running across our private property. This suggests a serious breakdown in communication and due diligence. Two successive sets of owners after this, we will be declaring our stance on it, will have said no. And there's really no reasonable basis for continuing to include these parcels in the town planning from our stance. And after this, if it does continue, we will have no choice but to involve legal counsel. With that said, we do have a letter which we have made for the town, which I'll hand out. And on it, you'll see that we have the signatures of different abutters here, so give me one moment, and I'll get these out to you guys.
Thanks.
thank you, sir.
All right, so with that said, again, this letter has been prepared and outlines all of our concerns in detail. And again, this has been signed by, and I'll read off the names here. Bob, who is at 51 Wood Street, Ray and Deb Webster at 45 Wood Street, Joe at 1 Webster Way, Stephen at 50 Wood Street, my wife and I at 358 Center Street, Steve Collins at 350 Center Street, Linda and Ralph at 356 Center Street, Ken and Melissa at 357 Center Street, Nicholas at 366 Center Street, and Levi at 354 Center Street. Dear members of the Community Preservation Committee, we, the undersigned private property owners, are writing to express our concern and objection regarding any consideration of routing a public trail through or immediately adjacent to our privately owned properties near Wood Street and Center Street. Below outlines our concerns and stance on the matter. Number one is lack of communication and transparency. We were only recently made aware of, by happenstance, and by happenstance, I'll notate, my wife was on a walk in, I think it was April, somewhere around that time frame. It was cold out, I remember that. And on the corner, came home and said, "Hey, I found, this thing," and it was just on the road. We thought maybe it was one of the letters, a letter of a neighbor or something of that nature. She's like, then I noticed our property on it and what said Crosstown Trail Plan with the trail going across it. It was this, folded up along with a few other pieces. So that's how we found out about this. With that said, again, the plan showing the potential trail alignment across our property. This was alarming, as it would seem that identifying and confirming trail access should be a prerequisite to any project approval or funding. To date, we have received no communication or notice about this project or its potential impact to our properties, which is pretty great. We respectfully believe that all projects involving or abutting private property should be handled with full transparency and notification before any decisions are made. We also note that when this project was originally voted on at town meeting, no specific route or easement had been identified at that time. Advancing a project that depends on private land access without owner consent or updated town meeting authorization would be inconsistent with both public process and fiscal prudence. Number two is questionable purpose and public benefit. We do not understand the purpose or need for a trail in this particular location. The proposed route appears to lead to an unimproved, actively hunted area that already experiences issues with spillover of illegal and unsafe hunting past its bounds. Encouraging public walking access there does not seem consistent with the town's goal for safe, responsible recreation or conservation. Number three, impact on privacy, property value, and enjoyment. A trail along or through these parcels would significantly affect the privacy, safety, and enjoyment of our homes. Our neighborhood's character is defined by its seclusion and natural setting. That's why we moved in and we love the property. In most communities, including the neighboring town of West Newbury, most resembling our neighborhood's character, trails are designed to maintain substantial buffers from the residences, often hundreds of feet away. In this case, the terrain offers really no practical way to locate the trail without placing it immediately besides our driveways or homes, including in our backyards, eliminating the very privacy that makes this area special and causing substantial loss of property value and livability. We purchased and maintain our properties specifically for the peaceful and natural beauty that they provide. We value the ability to snowshoe, take photographs, watch wildlife, I just took a video this morning of what I think was probably 16 turkeys, both in front of the house, and then eventually going around the back of the house, right? Watching the Bambis and all the rest of them before they get hunted, where they're cute and little and all the rest of it running around. All in our backyard. Again, activities we support through both the premium we paid for this land in our properties and our ongoing local taxes, which continue to rise significantly due to projects such as this, right? This quiet and low impact enjoyment is fully aligned with Groveland's conservation goals and deserves respect, not intrusion. Number 4, environmental, fiscal, and precedent concerns. Creating new disturbances in these areas would be inconsistent with the town's commitment to responsible environmental stewardship, greatly disrupting the ecosystems and animals that call it their home, which we intend to keep intact as a natural buffer between our properties. Additionally, Groveland already faces challenges maintaining existing trails. Expanding the network without clear public demand or maintenance funding would divert resources from higher priority needs. We believe it is fiscally prudent to focus on maintaining what the town already owns before creating new long-term obligations. Finally, we are concerned about the precedent. Much like former rail easements that later became major public corridors, even a small passive recreation path could evolve into a permanent, dramatic pause, higher use route decades later. Once a corridor is established, it becomes nearly impossible to reverse. 5, respect for private property. We value the town's conservation efforts and appreciate the volunteers who support them. However, please note there shall be no trespassing on our properties. This includes committee participants, agents, consultants, etc. shall not enter private property for any reason without prior written permission by the landowners unless otherwise authorized. We are confident this aligns with the town's policies and the respect for private property that Groveland residents rightfully expect. Our requests. Accordingly, we respectfully request the Community Preservation Committee, number 1, adopt a policy of clear notification and transparency ahead of any project involving private property, including making plans publicly available before approval. Number 2, formally remove and exclude our parcels from the undersigned from all current and future trail considerations, as our position is a firm no. Number 3, sell the recently donated parcel to one of the abutting landowners, immediate and ongoing, which this provides an immediate and ongoing tax benefit to the town of Groveland, and would be funding for other projects, other paths, whatever it might be, right, or continuing to maintain what we have. Or agree to never make public access to it, as there is no current conservation restriction recorded within Massachusetts, and there is no value to the public without disrupting the surrounding neighbors and abutters. In fact, we learned today that there's the parcel next to it is actually on sale and has plans for houses that would also directly abut that exact area. So again, it would do nothing but even prevent and possibly cause issues for future neighbors as well. We appreciate the committee's dedication to preserving Groveland's open space and quality of life. We simply ask that these values continue to be pursued with transparency, fairness, and respect for private landowners and the natural character of our community. We hope the town will be a good neighbor to us as we are to one another, respectfully submitted by all of us. And also thanks to, again, all of the neighbors who signed here and showed up, once we found out about this. So with that said, moving on to, again, we'll also see if anyone has any remarks as well. But a question, again, following this letter would be, did anyone start marking the proposed path for the trail?
No one from on this committee, or under this committee's direction.
Okay, that's good. Yesterday, we did find these on our trail, on our property, past the not do not disturb that's my phone, do not trespass signs, probably about 100 feet or so in, and in line with roundabout where the trail would be. Regardless, with that said, no one contacted us, no one had permission to be on our land, and this is exactly why we're concerned about the transparency process and respecting private property boundaries. We're not saying that it was you, but we wanted to clarify, if it was. And again, we have not authorized any entry, and so I appreciate you clarifying that. The next piece from here is, at the last conservation meeting, it was said that the project was within budget, but that you might seek additional funding from private organizations because an easement is needed. So my question becomes, how is the project within budget if additional funding is already being pursued? And what would additional funding accomplish when the required private easement has now been refused twice?
I can't speak for the Conservation Commission at this committee.
Well, I mean, it has to do with this project, right?
Fair.
In terms of the budget, if it's within budget but requires additional funding, does that mean it is within budget or not within budget? I would ask.
I mean,
No money has been spent on the
why don't you finish your
Okay.
presentation, and then I'll tell you where we stand, and then
Okay.
if we want a Q&A back and forth,
Sure.
then fine.
Another issue that we wanted to bring up was that curve, which my wife and I and many of us over there do walk around, is extraordinarily dangerous, which we hug the corner every time we do walk it, to the point where we have had to replace our mailbox not once, not twice, but 3 times, and eventually moved it to the other side because it got slammed by cars. In fact, the last one was one that unfortunately fishtailed all the way around and then slammed into Ken's tree across the street from us. And so, with that said, I do worry about safety on that crossing to begin with. And again, landing in the WMA, researching this a bit, it does sound like Mass Wildlife would need to approve of an additional trail to go into a net new area of the Crane Pond WMA, in which their policy literally states limits trail creation, marking, and maintenance, right? So I do worry, would we even have the ability to make a trail on the state WMA? It's managed for wildlife habitat and regulated hunting, right? So that's something that, I just wonder if we can even do that. And then, I think that's really kind of the bit of it from there. Oh, sorry. On a personal level, our homes were chosen and taxed for their privacy and natural, quiet environment. Again, as we mentioned, we do love to do things like snowshoe, et cetera. And I do think that we need to think going forward about trails, these concerns of, again, buffers and things of that nature. And I know that there are studies out there that show increased home value of, I think it's like a 1980s or 1990s neighborhood on the beaches in Florida. And they don't even talk to the abutters. It's about the general town, right? And so I do know that those exist, but I don't think they necessarily apply here. And I think we've listed our request tonight. And again, we just want Groveland to be good neighbors to us as we are to each other. That's really our simple ask. We don't mean this with any anger, malintent, et cetera. I will say on a personal level, this has been very problematic for me emotionally and my wife since she found that. I did not sleep that night and watched every single Groveland TV video until we found and discovered as much as possible, which was not a whole lot that this was talked about. And as a token of appreciation to the CPC, I love what we do here, right? I'm also on the town meeting study committee and the rec committee and want to actually join the finance committee. You know, I already donate a lot of time. My wife works for the state. And I would also like to donate my time and equipment to also help when it comes to trail maintenance, as I do have a grapple with a tractor and what have you to help with these kinds of things. And so as part of in the rec committee, what we've been talking about, and I hope to be able to help in ways like that too. But again, I hope you all understand our stance, and there's that. I'm not sure if anyone else.
If anyone else wants to say anything that isn't covered, by all means, feel free. I like it. You came with a prepared spokesman. It makes it nice and easy.
I want to hear what you have to say.
Yes, sir. Coming right at
I
you.
need to learn.
All right.
Yeah, then we may have questions.
Yeah, no, and that's perfectly fine. I'll go with that. Regarding the maps that you found, this project kind of stalled, and the town administrator had reached out to a couple of different agencies to propose finishing it. They are the ones that developed the map with or without without knowledge of going through private property or whatever. They deemed that was the easiest route to go.
Okay.
No decision has been made or approved to put that trail through your land. And I'll say, if you watch the past CPC meeting, either the last one or the one before, the point was specifically brought up that we need to get landowner permission before we take the project any further. No money has been spent on the project yet. It was a concept. The concept didn't align with the budget. So I would say that the theory or the trail is not finalized yet as far as location or whatever, and that would likely speak to the budgetary thing. How, you know, if we don't know what we're building, how do we know if we're in budget or not? I certainly appreciate you all taking the time to come down here and to say something and to speak up for yourselves, and good on you for doing it. And the committee will certainly recommend either finding a different route that does not affect properties. No one's coming in and trying to take it from you. If you don't want to play ball, that's your right, and you have every right to say that. So I think as far as it goes now, is we're going to have to look at an alternative route or just not. This committee did not put that project forward. I can't just say, no, we can't do that project. That project came forward from the Conservation Commission. It's on the Conservation Commission to decide if they no longer want to move forward with the project. But your stance is now on record, and I'll make sure that that gets filed. And I wouldn't anticipate any resistance from anybody on it, honestly.
Is that?
And if.
Oh, sorry.
I'm also going to look into if someone was out there marking trails on your private property without permission. That's a hard line with me, and I have a big problem with that. So I will look into that and see. And if that was something the town did, I profusely apologize, but I don't know that, but I will look into it.
Yeah. With that said, so is this something that I need to also take to the Conservation Commission, or how do we work through this to ensure that this does not end up on our properties, as we've mentioned here?
We're not going on anybody's private property. We couldn't possibly.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys don't grant the easement, it can't go on your property. So
Okay.
And, the 20 years here saying, we don't want it on our property, message received.
Okay. Yeah.
So it'll go elsewhere, or it won't go. I don't think you need to take it to the Conservation Commission. I'll certainly share this letter with them.
He's
Okay.
right next to you.
Yeah.
Come on.
He's one of several.
He's the chairman.
That's fair.
He is us.
Right.
Mike, feel free.
Sure.
If you've got.
I'm not speaking for the commission. I'm speaking personally here as a member of the Community Preservation Committee, and I think, as Adam said, the point is that, you know, an easement is something that a property owner grants. If nobody wants to grant an easement, then there's not going to be an easement. I think, like Adam said, any plan that you happen to find was purely conceptual. Nothing's been done. No money has been spent on the project. I don't know how that piece of paper found its way there. Like Adam said, there were a couple of contractors that were out there sent by the town administrator a couple months ago. Perhaps that's when they came. You know, this project was voted at town meeting 4 years ago. You obviously didn't live here then.
Right.
You know, I don't know what to say other than, like I say, it's not going anywhere. As long as no one's willing to grant an easement, I don't think you have anything to be concerned about.
I hope you can understand where we're coming from with, again, it just being dropped on the ground, and that's the only way we found out about this, right? And that the proposal seems to be in line with the original proposal and the drawn thing, right? And was dated as 2020, right? So that paper seems to have been around a while, and so that's a bit concerning, right? That it's the first time we're seeing it by
No,
half.
but that was a conceptual plan that was put together with the proposal
Understood,
that was filed 5 years ago.
right.
Conceptual, you know what that means? It's a concept, doesn't mean anything like that's gonna happen, that could happen, anything. So,
Right. And I will say, if it was a concept and it was previously said no to, I would have hoped that to see that, or not see anything actually for that matter, right? And so I hope you can also understand our concern, just as if it came back up, then what goes from there? Because now we start thinking, oh shoot, does this turn into an eminent domain or something along those lines, right? And we don't know, right? We're new to this town, and I think it's respectful and responsible to bring it up to the committee that controls this as the landowners for these different properties, because it is extremely concerning, right, leading up to this point. Again, we all appreciate what you all do. We all know that there's a lot of volunteer work included in what we all do here, right? Myself included in the committees. And so we appreciate you, and we just wanted to say our piece and give our stance. And so,
This, this board very much values transparency and, you know, being forthright about things. If you've watched any of our meetings, you know, for the past several months, I think it'd be clear. So when the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, I think we're glad you're here. You know, this is the best way to say, hey, listen, we've got an issue. Come to the meeting, right? Mm-hmm. You know, so that's great on you guys. And, you know, and for our part, we also, you know, want to make sure that everything is above board and people are, you know, being straightforward with each other and nobody's trying to slip anything anywhere, you know, none of that. And,
Right.
and I do think I can speak from personal experience that, you know, in my time here, which hasn't been very, very long, but the boards are doing a better job now than in the past of communicating with one another. And so, you know, it is, that your request is something that's very important to us as well in that sense. And so, you know, I want to make sure that you know that that's something that we are driving at also. And that
Appreciate that.
And that comes in the form of how we approve the proposals. We're changing the way that things get done as far as what comes through and what gets voted on and how project gets shepherded from inception to completion, right? You know, it's if you've been watching what we've been doing, we've been culling out old projects that have just been sort of sitting by the wayside.
Right.
So, I mean, part and parcel to this, if this was the remnants of something old that nobody really wanted then, or many people didn't really want then, and people don't really want now, it's good to know about that because that's certainly an important thing to factor when we are deciding, you know, what we're going to recommend, you know, for town meeting. And so, one, thanks for coming. Two, understand we value the transparency aspect every bit as much as you do. And, this seems like step one in the process rather than, necessarily the end of a process, right? Like, it's good for us to be talking about that.
Anybody else have any,
Yeah, I was just going to say, thank you again. My name's TJ McNulty, by the way. Nice to meet you as well. Thank you for coming tonight and speaking on behalf of all your neighbors. So, one, the first thing we need to do is, I think we need to have a conversation with the project manager for this specific project and our town administrator to make sure that we're on the up and up, and that the fact where there were possible people in your trespassing on property, right, putting that kind of stuff, that's unacceptable. There should be some type of, I wanted to say was, we implicated a monthly project report for all these reports, and this project report that came in on November 1st is stated, and I just wanted to let you all know that it states they have to identify five potential options for a trail easement, right? So this is all very early on phases, and that's where as long as we have pushback from you guys and we know there's nowhere to go forward. It also says that part of this is still the part of the project owner needs to contact potential residents for partnership as well. So just so you know that is part of the update, and
That's good.
there's nothing that was been set in stone or voted upon through any of
Right.
us.
And-
And again, it would all have to be voted upon from the town as well, right? The project would have to be approved.
And again, looking back to, again, just to explain our surprise at all of this, the Crosstown Trail has come up extraordinarily briefly. And again, I didn't lie. I literally didn't sleep that night. My wife wanted, I think, throw me out the window. I did not sleep that night. And I think there were four or five mentions of it very briefly in passing, right? And there was never any documentation available that I could find on it, right? And so that's where I appreciate the transparency now going forward, and especially the involvement of the residents, right? And again, communication. So very, very much appreciated on that.
Agreed. Thank you.
anybody else have any questions? Step up to the mic, if you would, please.
Debbie Webster, 45 Wood Street. I remember when this project was first proposed, and it was part of the current landowner. He wanted to do some development, and as part of that development, he wanted to donate land to the town. The town was interested in doing this cross-trail project. But it died a real fast death because Mr. Baskin, who they needed, because the way the homes were developed along Center Street, the current owner left no access. So the only access was a couple of different places along Subatch's old land, Latham's right away, and then Baskin's, who is now, owned by this gentleman. So I'm really curious. I've got a couple questions. It died a very fast and horrible death 4 or 5 years ago. Who is the project manager for this, the name? And funding, the way the town works. When it was funded initially to look into this, the funding goes away. Funding isn't forever in a town. We run by fiscal year, and there's very few funds that carry over from year to year. So I'm very curious how this project, why now? Because the only thing I could find is I looked through conservation, I looked through planning, and the only thing that I could find is Mr. Ogden now wanting a common driveway, 3-lot subdivision on the abutting parcel. So it seems weird that this project is coming up again in alignment with his submittal before the planning board. So it's weird that the town administrator would resurrect something that wouldn't even have a budget legally, because it should have gone away a long time ago when the project died.
Answer this.
And so I would like to know who the project manager is.
Okay, so Mike Dempsey is the project manager for this one. As far as the funding goes, with the CPC grants, that grant for that project, when it was approved at town meeting, did not have an expiration date. So that money doesn't follow the regular fiscal year. That money is earmarked for that trail until the project's either completed or closed. There's no expiration date, there's no time limit on it.
Okay, so follow up to the project manager. Why is he reenacting this without first knowing?
If-
Because
if-
he was on it before.
If,
He was on it before, he knew why the trail couldn't happen. So why is it going on without him
It's-
first contacting them?
fair question, let me answer the first part of it, and then I'll turn it over to Mike if he wants to speak on it. We went through, I just got on this committee 2 years ago, was elected chair, and what we had was a bunch of open projects that nothing was being done. As a service to the taxpayers, of one of which I am, I wanted to see these projects get finished. So we kind of ran through and found all the dead projects and tried to resurrect them and either finish them or close them. And that's when this got resurrected. The town administrator assisted with getting some contractors to take a look at it and put some proposals out, and now we're here. Mike, if you want
Yes,
to add.
yes, I will. So, as I stated before, this project was proposed in 2021. Nothing was ever hidden. It was discussed among the committee, discussed at public meetings. It was approved by the Community Preservation Committee at that time to put forward to town meeting. It was presented to the selectmen at the time. It was presented to the Finance Board at the time. And then it went to town meeting, and it was approved. Again, everything was above board. That included that conceptual plan, because there had to be a conceptual plan for the entire trail in order to even have it be a proposal. So none of this was hidden. There was no conspiracy either then or now to somehow force anybody to do anything. So, as I said before, I think you can go back and sleep nights so that you don't have to worry about somebody trespassing on your property. As far as why it's being brought up today is, as Adam said, we had a few projects that were sitting there, nothing was done. Part of the reason why a couple of those came that way was because in the 2020 to 22 period when we were with COVID, there were a lot of things that didn't happen, and so this was one of them. When Adam and the rest of the committee talked about it, as he said, the town administrator decided that she could take it on and see what contractors might be able to do, and they went out and looked at it. I suspect that probably that paper that you found was from that one of their visits. I don't believe, as Adam said, that anybody was out there. That marker, some of those markers can be out there for 10 years from some other old project. There were old projects that were proposed years and years ago. Who knows? But as far as the town knows, as far as I know, as far as the Conservation Commission knows, as far as the Community Preservation Committee knows, nobody's been on your property marking anything, looking at anything.
Again, I don't know where they came from. What I can say is that we frequently are out and about on our property. Again, we do love to actually watch the wildlife and whatnot and all the rest of it. And those particular markers were not there at most a week and a half before. So in the past week and a half, they appeared. Again, who put them out there? I agree with you. Who knows? But I just needed to make it a point to clarify, was it this committee or one of the town government or by the town government to ensure that, trespassing was established, right? So again, I hope you can understand why we brought that up. 'Cause
I think everyone understands that you don't want people on your property, and if it happened recently, you'd want to know who did it. So,
I hate to have
reasonable.
to have this whole conversation, right? I really don't, because again, I love you all as volunteers, right, and working for the town. But, you know, I hope you can understand why we're having this conversation.
Sure. Absolutely.
Are we done?
Anybody else?
Can I ask
Right.
a question?
Please.
So I'm just wondering, so once all these conversations have taken place by this board with other boards, does someone communicate with, it sounds like you're the spokesperson. So, I mean, well, yeah, but I mean, in terms of contact, could each person, I mean, it looks like you could be a
Well,
person.
We have
I-
addresses, email addresses,
Right,
and phone
okay.
numbers of everybody on there,
Yeah.
so you can get in contact
I
with
mean,
all of them.
Yeah, I
just
mean,
wondering what the
absolutely,
protocol
but
is.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if you don't want this on your land, it's not going on your land. So you
This,
could,
this
It's
is a
dead.
this is a legal document. It's signed by all of you.
Yeah.
We don't really need to just doesn't matter.
Y-
We've already have your answer.
it's not going on your land.
Thank you very much for that, and Mike, again, I appreciate I can actually sleep now, because it's been bothersome for a
Sure.
very long time.
Sure.
So,
All right. Again, thank you all for coming, and thank you for voicing your concern.
No, you're stuck for the rest of the meeting.
Yeah,
And I-
Wait,
you don't get to
Yeah.
leave class in the middle.
Have a good night. Thank you for your time.
thank you all.
Thank you.
Good night.
That's okay. I got a big gun.
Oh, man, I thought they wanted to see us.
Right,
They just wanted to
yeah.
yell at us.
We got eight or nine more matters.
Really? Hang out.
I'm sorry. It's not that important.
Well,
I'm putting you on last next time.
Like a band.
right. Where would you like that to go? Which easement did we agree to?
All right, moving on.
Update and discussion on Crosstown Trail project.
I think we've got that.
God, please no.
I think we've got that covered. Next, we have correspondence from the Community Preservation Coalition regarding the proposed project at VZ Park. And I handed that out to you if you want to see it, follow along, but I'm going to read it for the record. So a question was asked, so I had Rebecca reach out to Stuart at the Community Preservation Coalition to get his theory on it. I'm just going to read it word for word. This is Rebecca to Stewart. I hope you're doing well. I'm currently reviewing the application proposal regarding the proposed lighting installation at VZ Memorial Park intended to support its use as a wedding venue. At this stage, I'm having difficulty identifying how the project aligns with any of the eligible funding categories under the CPC. As you know, CPC funds may be allocated for open space, historic preservation, community housing, and outdoor recreation. While the property is town-owned and under a conservation restriction, the proposal appears to support commercial use such as weddings and private events, which typically limits public access during those times. This seems at odds with the intent of enhancing the site for public recreational use. Could you confirm whether this type of project falls outside the scope of CPC funding? If there's any precedent or additional guidance you can share, it would be greatly appreciated. Stuart to Rebecca, happy to help figure this one out. You are correct that this is a complicated request. Can you send us two pieces of information, a copy of the application and a copy of the conservation restriction? They staple mine out of order. Terrible person. So Rebecca sent him the conservation restriction and what he came up with. So the italic ones are from the conservation restriction, which this is one of. The construction or placement of any building, tennis court, artificial swimming pool, asphalt driveway, asphalt road, sign, except as permitted pursuant to paragraph C4 below, billboard or other advertising display, mobile home, utility pole, tower, conduit, or line, or other temporary or permanent structure on or above or below the premise. Stuart's breakdown on that. It's possible that outdoor weddings are prohibited by this restriction. While the use of the buildings for weddings is likely okay, it doesn't seem like outdoor spaces on this conservation land can be used that way. The restriction repeats that the land should be used for passive recreation, and the state might not consider a wedding to be a passive activity. It would be prudent to run that by them. Another paragraph says this about uses on the property. Any use of the premise and/or activity thereon which is inconsistent with the intent that the premise remain is the reasonable opinion of the grantee predominantly in their natural condition except for the use of the premise for agricultural, forestry, educational, or passive recreational purposes in accordance with the provisions of paragraph C below and otherwise consistent with the provisions of this conservation restriction. This is Stuart's explanation on that. This is a very old restriction, of course, and many folks who might have been familiar with the intent and operation of VZ have long since moved on. We'd suggest the town review the restriction and the self-help grant agreement, meet with the folks at the state who oversee the restriction with the goal of making sure that the things happening on that property are consistent with the restriction. I know this is not the answer you were expecting, but please don't shoot the messenger.
Can I address that?
Can I finish first and then we'll circle
You want to
back?
go all through that?
Kinda.
Okay.
All right, well, go ahead, shoot.
No, so indeed, I have discussed this with the state, and we have to submit management plans every couple of years. So, actually just met with the CR person at Fish and Game, DCR, this past week. And there's no problem with us having weddings there. That's perfectly acceptable. They don't have any problem with that. So that's really not an issue.
Fair.
Is there a difference because it's outdoor?
No. Well, all they,
He
they-
seems to think, Stuart seems to
That's
think
what-
that it is, the difference is the
That's what I was
outdoor.
picking.
well, yes, indeed, but DCR is okay with us using it for weddings. We've said that. They don't disagree with us.
Is there a way to amend the conservation restriction and make sure that is that something that's a possibility?
Not really. They don't plan on doing that. They acknowledge that it's older
Well, right, if it's
language,
older
but
language that maybe isn't any longer applicable, and if they're saying that, hey, wink, wink, nod, nod, you can do this, it'd be swell if we could get language. that would-
the way that
Or a
they,
piece of paper that
the
says.
way
wink,
that,
wink,
the
nod,
way that
nod.
they deal with it is through the management plans.
Right.
That's how they deal with it.
Fair enough.
Anyway, yeah.
All right, moving on. By reading the conservation restriction, this parcel was clearly acquired for passive recreation and conservation purposes. So for CPA purposes, it falls under the open space category. The CPA allowable uses chart shows the tasks allowed in that category. Installing lights on the outdoor land would fall into the rehabilitation box on the above chart, but you'll note that rehabilitation of conservation land is not allowed for VZ as it was not acquired with CPA funds. So CPA funds cannot be used for lighting and other such projects to rehabilitate the conservation land. The only activities a CPA can pay for on this property are as follows. Acquire. You already own the property, so that doesn't apply. Create. It is already conservation land, so this generally doesn't apply. The only possibility to use CPA funds under create would be a project to remove some of the structures or buildings on the property and then return that land to open conservation land. That would qualify as creation of open space conservation land. Preserve. This means to protect the conservation land from injury, harm, or destruction. This type of work is rare with conservation land, but removing invasive species would be one such preservation activity. So unfortunately, the lighting project is not eligible for CPA funds. In fact, I'm skeptical that installing outdoor lighting on poles is even allowed by the terms of the restriction. It makes it clear the land was purchased for its conservation values, needs to be open to the public from any town, and be used only for passive recreation. Installing outdoor lights does not fit the above description, and in fact is likely harmful to wildlife. Further down the document is a list of activities which are not permitted, and it seems to say that you can't install electric poles and lights. And then he just asked that I share this with the committee.
So I think that I need to have a discussion with him because I don't, he's taking this premise that, this whole idea of passive recreation, that's the only purpose. That is partly true, but as I say, we've already had discussions with DCR about what goes on there. And if you follow the straight definition of passive recreation, nothing that's going on there would be going on. And obviously,
So,
things have been going on there for 25 years.
so it seems to me that a lot of this information goes beyond the scope of what we do here.
Well,
Except to the point that there's a potential project being proposed. It sounds like it can't happen. Now,
Right. Well, so basically, the cliff notes I got from that is the only thing we can use there is open space. And you can't use open space to put lights in. Is the cliff notes I pulled out of that.
yeah, agree.
Yeah, there's a bunch of other information in there that,
It has nothing to
Has
do with
nothing to
our
do
role.
with us.
Right, exactly.
Right, so that's why I'm saying, I think I need to go back and communicate DCR's response to some of this stuff to Stewart.
sure, but I don't think that changes the fact that.
It will, it guaranteed it will change it, because what he's saying is, you can't pursue recreation funds there. You can only pursue open space funds there. And I agree, you can't use open space funds there, but we can use recreation funds.
I just ask that whatever communications you have with him, you share with all of us.
Oh, yeah, certainly, certainly. No, because no matter what, he's gonna have to come back with something which I'm gonna have to
Yep, no,
present to the
yeah.
committee.
Fair enough.
Adam,
Yes, sir.
I just got a question for Mike.
Sure.
Basically, on page 3, in italics is printing the paragraph that basically states that this is the restriction that's been placed on the property, and it says, you can't add a building, tennis court, pool, driveways, anything like that. In fact, utility pole. So that would kind of, following that, it puts the kibosh on putting 4 poles out and 4 lights up if there wanted to be an evening wedding. It's,
I don't believe that the project was gonna put any poles up.
no,
There's
no,
already poles there.
she said that she wanted to put poles up so,
No.
in a certain area. And
That's how I remember it as well.
so,
There are already poles there. So I don't think that that's really an issue.
okay, well, I think that the CPC
I would say
takes
if,
precedence over what other group you plan to talk to.
no, well, I would say,
In the face of that information, it's difficult for us to
It-
get
it-
that project moving forward.
well, but we don't need to pick on that project right now, because the application deadline isn't in. I would just say, if you do
Let's see
submit
if
the application,
Then we can talk about it then.
cross your Ts and dot your Is and have all the answers to that, and
Right,
it is what it is.
exactly.
All right, moving on. Approval of scope modification for Washington Hall paving and hydroseeding project. Ooh. This, I remember Claire had come in a couple months ago, and she had wanted to change the hydro seeding to juniper bushes.
Isn't it already a done deal?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately,
I didn't,
the purchase order process was not followed.
oh, wow.
And when she came in and said that she wanted to change from grass to juniper bush, she failed to mention the change in price. So we're kind of going after the fact to approve this.
I get it.
So the original scope, the proposal includes funding for the application of a final top coat of pavement, and additionally, the proposal covers the cost of hydroseeding the surrounding land adjacent to the parking lot and the two access roads. The requested modification, following further evaluation, the proposed hydroseeding of the south-facing hill near Washington Hall, located between Washington Hall and the South Fire Station, has been reconsidered. Due to the steep slope and associated safety concerns, it has been determined that planting juniper shrubs is a more suitable alternative. Each juniper plant can spread 6 to 8 feet, providing effective ground coverage, unlike grass, which would require frequent mowing and pose maintenance challenges on such a steep incline. Juniper is low maintenance and will establish quickly, reducing long-term upkeep and improving safety for maintenance personnel. Justification for deviation. This change is necessary due to the discovery of significant safety and maintenance concerns associated with the original plan to hydroseed the steep hill. The slope's grade makes it hazardous for grounds crews to perform regular mowing, which would be required to maintain grass. These risks were not fully understood or anticipated during the initial planning phase. Upon closer inspection and consultation with the grounds maintenance staff, it became clear that a low-maintenance ground covering plant, such as juniper, would be a safer and more sustainable solution. The deviation ensures long-term cost savings, reduces the risk of injury, and supports better environmental stability on the slope. The amount of the change is $9,140. The remaining balance on the project was $9,182. And then there is a quote attached.
So am I right to understand that the initial budget remaining was 9,200, and then the update with the change basically leaves everything the same?
No,
This is an.
there was $9,182 left in the project.
Right,
Of that $9,182, they spent $9,140
So everybody-
for the,
so they
for
have
the bushes.
$42 and
So they have $42 left.
But so what, this is just asking, instead of hydroseeding, they planted a different plant there, right? That's basically it.
I thought they were
Well,
just
it's
changing.
the cost difference that's more the issue. The plant is the plant.
No, I thought, the way that I read this, and I could be wrong, is that it sounds like they're trying to use the same budget, $42 less than what they were going to use to do the other thing.
Well, so they might have had money left over from paving or what, I think the original quote for the hydro seed was about $1,500. Looking back at the original.
So, all right, so we're saying, if we approve this, we're saying it's okay for them to have spent the remaining money to do hydroseeding rather than the $1,500.
So instead of spending $1,500 on hydro seeding, that's part of the $9,000. They had money left over from paving.
Yeah.
We're now allowing them to use $9,140 from the remaining budget
Yes.
to do the juniper bushes
Right.
and associated mulch.
Okay, so instead of us getting $8,000 or $7,500 back,
We're gonna get $42 back.
we're gonna get $42 back.
But on
But
the other
the-
hand,
Long-term.
No mowing,
Long-term
long-term.
is,
this
they're
is,
not over budget, that's the big thing.
Yeah. I mean, I would have liked this before it was done,
Yeah,
but
So we don't have a choice,
It's a
sure we
done
do, 'cause
deal.
if
We always
we, if we
have a
don't
choice.
approve it, it's not our problem.
they have to pay us, they have to pay us
They
the
have to, they have to pay
$9,100.
it. I don't want to do that to anybody, and she, in good conscience, came in here and told us what she was gonna do.
Yep, and the funding's already,
It does raise an issue that the purchase order system was not being followed. And I've already spoken to Rebecca, and she's gonna send out a reminder email to anybody who has an open project that there's a purchase order system in place that would have caught this before the money was spent and committed.
yeah.
And the scope modification would have had to come through.
anything going forward has to go through her anyway now, right? This is,
And that's what we approved last year.
okay.
Around the same time we approved this. So I know it's all new.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to grant a little bit of leeway.
Yep.
Is there, is there more than one quote for what it would cost for the juniper bushes?
No, because it's actually a bill, not a quote.
Right.
Yes, sir.
I remember when she came in, and she was talking about enlarging the parking lot.
Separate project,
Okay,
not part of
this
this.
is that enlarging the parking lot and regrading.
Completely separate from
That
this.
has not been applied for.
No.
So I'll make a motion to accept the scope modification for the Washington Hall paving and hydroseeding project.
I'll second it.
I gotta write it down, so.
Yeah, yeah,
bear
yeah,
with
yeah,
me.
you're good.
So we are gonna have a motion to approve
Scope modification,
scope modification,
Washington Hall paving and hydroseeding project.
Nothing's happened to the paving, right? The paving is.
the paving's been
Complete.
been done for a minute. All right, so approve scope modification for Washington Hall paving and hydroseeding project.
And this will close
Using-
out the project.
Using juniper bushes instead of hydroseeding for the sum of $9,140.
30 blue rug junipers, yes. In lieu of hydroseeding.
All right, so we've got a motion and a second. Any further question?
My question was.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This will close out the project?
Yes. Which I would expect a full closeout report next meeting.
The only comment I've got to say is that they took it upon themselves to spend money that wasn't approved.
Again, I'm willing to grant, yeah, I agree. I'm willing to
So
grant a little
if
leeway
they
because
come
they're
before
new.
the board in future projects, they'll need to assure the board that this will never happen again.
Agreed.
Well,
Or you don't get any money.
You can't, because
The system.
now there's a system in place, Kim,
Purchase orders.
to prevent this kind of thing from happening.
Yeah,
That's
I-
what we
For that.
passed earlier.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
but I will certainly issue a reminder.
Yes.
Right.
All right, any other comment? All those in favor?
Hi.
All right.
Unanimous. Does anybody, can I use your blue pen for a second? I can make clean pen. Thank you, sir. All right, and scope modification handled. All right. Update on Congregational Church Bell Project. I can't wait for this project to be over so I can stop following it up saying it.
Congress did not approve this.
No. It's funny, I say that because like, my wife's like, oh, you're going to Congress tonight? And I was, yeah, that's where I'm going. They are still pursuing their preservation restriction on that one. Update on the trail enhancement project.
I can speak to that.
Perfect. Take it away, I need a break.
I owe you some documentation, first of all, that I'm a little bit behind on. That will be taken care of this week.
And when you say that, are we talking like the?
Project reports and whatnot.
I remember when we had our kickoff meeting, we talked about, you know, a attack plan, if you will.
Sure.
I would still love to see that, you know,
Sure.
what's gonna get hit, you know, when,
Well,
how
and,
much.
right. And this is, the nature of how this has been is that it's kind of evolving as we go. And as we learn, you know, when we do one thing, another thing comes up and, you know, so it's kind of an ongoing,
Yeah,
but
no, I agree, but having that
Yes.
plan, I think, would just help get the most out of it.
I agree and understand.
And then
I'm aboard.
you'll know what you have for things you find along the way.
Sure. So let me tell you what's happened. Since our last meeting, we have successfully completed the bridge that was out is repaired and has been repaired with new wood. Looks good. We've got photos.
I did see a couple photos.
I do think I'm going to ask. So we had a volunteer who's also the caretaker of that trail, who actually spearheaded the work and did the labor for it. So we really only had to pay for materials, which was a whopping $1,022 or so, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
$1,022.27 to be specific. And I believe there's material left over in that to finish the other side of the rail, which I'm going to ask him to do.
It's just funny, because that's the comment I had.
Yeah.
Because I saw a picture, and I'm like, oh, where's the rail on the other side?
100%. So additionally, so we had, that bridge was out and not usable, and now it's in, usable and brand new.
Love it.
And based on the cost projections we were seeing for other entities to install these types of bridges, could have cost anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 to put it in. We spent a little over $1,000 and have what's going to be a really nice bridge for years to come. Additionally, we were able to reuse some of the pieces from the old bridge to make bridge number 2 usable again.
I'll
and so
salvage
that's-
some of the demo to.
Right. Now, I mean, that's not a permanent solution, of course, but it is definitely, makes boots on the ground better, more usable, you know, well-intentioned, well set up. So the same gentleman that's done that is interested, we think, in putting together some of the kiosks that we want to do. And they can be quite expensive to have manufactured and put in. And based on the quality of the workmanship of the bridge, we have some pretty good confidence that if and when he makes a template, it's going to be great. Probably better than what we could purchase. So we're working on.
If the gentleman would like assistance, I dabble.
Understood. And so part and parcel to being, you know, mindful of spending the citizens of Groveland's money, we like to be, use labor when it's quality and voluntarily given, when we can. So that's something that's happening. The next big piece is Mike and I are going to go and start staking out where the trail markers are going to be for these 6 trails.
Stay off private property.
Yeah. We won't use pink ribbons, I promise. No, we'll be staking out on the specified grounds where we're going to be putting post markers. And what's important about that is once we locate these things, then we can also geolocate them so that when we get to putting them on a map, then everything is going to be to scale and to scope and, like in a much better, more usable way. On that point, we've identified an individual who has redone the maps recently for the West Newbury portion of the town forest where they were kind of
I
maxed
saw
it up.
they sent a little communicado saying they were coming in to do it.
Well, right, and so not only did he do a great job with it, we've had some conversations with him, and it looks like we may be able to get his services from a volunteer standpoint to do the maps for us, for our other trails. And so we're working on that, and, again, identifying a free source for some of this stuff, and the product looks very good. I think it's kind of a home run for what we're trying to accomplish in improving these trails. So next point of business for me is I'm going to order the post for the trail markers. And so we're gonna get the wood for that. We've identified the rough cost for each marker is gonna be about $50. But we will have plenty in the budget to handle sourcing all the markers for all the trails. And so that's good news. Another thing that we learned as we walked these trails is for town forests particularly and some of the other trails, where there are mostly trees instead of open land, trail markers can go knocked into a tree, right? And so a metal colored signet is much easier and cheaper than a whole sign notched into the ground. Tacking something to a tree is easier than sticking a post in the ground 18 inches deep.
Just don't use galvanized nails.
Exactly. So in any event, we're learning based on the terrain of the various trails what we need to do, and it is kind of evolving, but we're moving forward, and we can demonstrate some ball moving, and that makes me really excited. Additionally, we've identified some areas that we need to rework, and so for example, I know we talked about benches. To get the benches that we're looking to get, a $3,000 budget item is really like $30,000 for what we're looking for, right? And if we were just robbing Peter to pay Paul and taking out from one part of the budget to take to another, we could probably find a good chunk of that because we way over budgeted on lumber and some of the other pieces. What I would rather do is split out those issues from this project and make a proposal for 2026 that is very specific and says this is what it's going to cost, and we're going to have very good budget numbers on it because we've already reached out to the vendors, and so that plus a bridge that we want to connect the community rail trail to Center Street Greenway, which will be outstanding because everybody uses the rail trail. And to branch off from that straight onto another trail network is going to be awesome and a really good use for folks in town. So, but the cost of that is we've budgeted some of it into this particular, and we would just shift it over to the next and remove it from this budget. But the idea is for things that were out of budget in the 2025 proposal, I want to put into a 2026 proposal so we have a better budgetary system. And again, it goes hand in hand with what we've been talking about all day about being transparent and wanting to make sure that the people of Groveland know what we're doing. And, we're not trying to sneak funds out of this area to pay for this other stuff. Like, I think it's just a better move. So what you can expect from us on the December 1 date is a new proposal with some of these things, and we'll happily, drop from the 2025 proposal the remnants of, because obviously we're not trying to just use those monies for whatever.
I would say don't drop them, but earmark them for return.
100%, right.
And just let us know ahead of time. And then it's nice to have the buffer in there if something comes up, in order
No,
to finish a project. I wouldn't give the money
100%,
away,
100%. But progress is being made. We've identified people that are happy to help us doing these various things. And now what wasn't a usable area is now a usable area in one spot. And, this is what progress looks like over, what'll probably be a number of years instead of just, months.
And do you anticipate keeping on going until the ground's frozen?
Yeah, so, what we were talking about is there are some things that we need to do that don't happen to need boots in the ground necessarily. I mean, staking out where posts are going to go is something that can continue through even after the freeze. But we're going to have some new trails, and we have to name the trails. So thinking about how we're going to get, maybe the fifth grade Groveland, Bagnell kids to name some new trails and things like that.
Careful, it'll be the 6-7 trail.
Well, that'll be okay. But there's some things that we can do. Mapping is something that's lacking, and so we can work on some of those sorts of things if they're over the winter while so things continue to move, and that's something we've been discussing, talking about getting template items for like what a kiosk looks like and what a map holder looks like, and again, if we're working with the fellow who did the work on the bridge, you feel like putting together 6 kiosks over the winter, maybe. So when it comes time to install things, we should be ready to hit the ground running in the spring and have a whole network of new trail signs and all kinds of goodies that make these trails better than they were in 2025.
Excellent. Very thorough report.
Wait till I put it down on paper.
Wait till I write that down.
Yeah, exactly.
You do me a favor, write it down and email it to me so I can just copy paste it from
Property
the,
tax.
Right.
All right, update on the affordable housing project.
I'd like to know what it is.
The update is there hasn't been
Nothing has happened.
significant developments to report since the initial meeting. Coordination efforts are ongoing. I was haranguing Rebecca about this last week or the week before, to get on it's just the consultant was busy on something, then they were on vacation, but they're all coming back together, so unfortunately, again, it's not gonna make the 2026 project to fund it, but I am very interested in continuing to push it forward.
It isn't the repair stuff.
No.
No, this was a,
Well, this was the one that got approved last year, the repair and
Right.
setting up the fund. But the consultant, it's a bunch of legal papers and stuff, and we have to work with the consultant to do it. And they've been,
so if I were interested in some other affordable housing thing, I should talk to Rebecca?
or throw a project up, I mean, there's
Right, yeah.
plenty of money there.
First, yes, I would have to do a deep breath kind of
Yeah.
thing and all of that.
I-
Re-immerse myself.
Basically, we need to do, that project has to be completed, honestly, before just about any other affordable housing project can go on, because that sets the fund and the baseline to work everything out of.
Okay,
To use the CPC funding for affordable housing.
say it again?
To be able to use the CPC funding for affordable housing, this would have to be
Okay.
done.
Should I be talking to Rebecca?
Sure.
Yep. All right, thank you.
But if you want to do affordable housing separately, that's a different,
yeah.
that's a different,
Right,
Topic.
but this has to happen before.
nope, that's if you only want to use CPC funding. If you wanted to build affordable housing separately, that's through the state, to
Okay.
apply for affordable housing through
Okay,
them.
no, I meant to.
You want to use CPC, yeah.
All right, next up, update on the veto project.
Oh, my goodness.
No, this is great, this is great news.
Oh, good.
We are going to be putting forward a project for 2026 to complete the Vito Museum. I am putting the project forward, and I am going to run the project in conjunction with the Vito Committee. That being said, I want to close out the existing Vito project that was approved at the 2025 town meeting, as that scope no longer aligns with what the committee wants to do and has all kinds of problems with it and is never going to go anywhere. So I would prefer to return that money before I ask for more money.
Reasonable.
Does the town have to vote to close that project out, or is that do we have to bring
The
it forth to them?
Vito committee, who put the project forward, has voted to close the project out.
Okay.
Now I want to vote as the CPC to close the
It
project.
doesn't have to, and beyond that, it doesn't have to be.
Then it's done.
It just
Yep.
stops with us.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to close out the veto project that was approved in the 2025 annual town meeting and return funds to the Historic Preservation Fund in the amount of $52,825.
I will second that motion.
Any further conversation? See none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
All right.
Unanimous. All right. Updates on 2026 proposed projects.
Mr. Chair, before you go on to that, I noticed there's something we didn't discuss that's in the packet, scope modification for the planting, maintaining, and
Yep, well,
do that after.
I gotta do that under items not reasonably anticipated because I didn't have it when I posted it.
Gotcha, thank you.
Updates on fiscal year '26 proposed projects. Just a reminder, the deadline for projects is 12/1/2025. Bathrooms at Shanahan Field, they're still working that out. Perry Park Phase 2, Stephanie had said she was gonna try and stop by tonight, but I guess she didn't make it. The Washington Hall parking lot, I don't think is gonna be a thing. I haven't heard anything about it. Johnson Pond Weed Control,
No.
we're all set with
Yeah.
that. Shut her down. All right, lighting upgrades at the Pines. I know I'm working on it, Patrick's working on it, Rebecca's working on it. We have a scope-ish. We have,
Quotes-ish.
yeah, it's a moving target. We're changing things, moving things, but we do have a general layout nailed down. I actually just got another revised copy of it this afternoon. And quote for the lighting is expected in a couple of days. Basketball courts, resurfacing at Bagnell. Looks like now they're also gonna try and encompass a play area with that. And then
Who's proposing that?
that is Rebecca via somebody else
Okay.
that I don't know. Somebody approached Rebecca about it, and she's helping, assisting. Completion of the Vito Museum, which is the one I just mentioned. And then, Linda, you had a project?
It's not quite completed, but we
Just
ran into,
hit your microphone.
the problem that we had
Hey, guys.
not enough money to pay the consultants because fees had skyrocketed.
And this is the Washington Hall and National Registry?
Yes.
So you'll be putting an application forward this year to
To
get the
make
rest
it-
of the funds?
And I did write 3 grants to try to get the money another way. None of them have come through, unfortunately.
Okay, well, at least we tried other
So,
avenues.
I think it'll be about $3,800.
Guys,
Okay, and,
And my question was, since we have the signs, I've always put extra money in the grant. Do we have to put that money in the grant proposal for the signs anymore?
I don't think we need a sign for putting it on the National Registry. I don't know.
No.
I don't think that,
Okay.
there should already be enough signs at Washington Hall, the amount of stuff that was done up there.
And then I've got,
And then Mike has a project too that he passed out.
so this was, we had discussed this sometime in the past few months regarding acknowledgement signs
Oh,
at
okay.
the,
CBC project.
many of the projects. So what I did was I went through the list of all the projects that involved a physical site and eliminated any duplicates except where it made sense, like at the Pines, to recognize specific things that were done there.
Yep.
And came up with 27 signs that would be put in place with this proposal. I kind of filled out the form.
Yeah.
It needs more work, but, that's the basic idea, is to put the signs in place to make sure we clearly identify the accomplishments of the committee and also the project applicants. And,
When you do propose this, can you do a mock-up of what the sign will?
Oh, yeah,
or a
yeah, I
sample-
don't-
Sample, if you will.
I'm expecting, I approached one vendor that we've used before, and I'm expecting his estimate to come back any day.
Yeah.
And part of that will be a draft picture of what the signs are gonna look like. They're gonna cover installation, so, we're not gonna have to do anything.
I do notice on here you have like the Shanahan Field, the Pines parking. Rebecca has those signs already.
Yeah, but they may not meet what we want.
I actually think they're gonna.
I don't know.
Well, we'll see.
She already has the signs.
She's already placed the orders for signs for those areas.
All right.
It's part of her update. that
Well,
we'll
I'll
get to in a
talk to
second.
her, because maybe I'm interested to see what she got and how they.
This is similar to, is there a sign at the Pines now, like a blue sign, or is that at Town Hall? It's like a blue and white sign?
Is this the sign? Is this what you're thinking about?
No,
Okay, this is different than.
that's different, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll find out.
Yeah, just touch base with her, because I don't want you to duplicate efforts.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And if she already has somebody lined up.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Any other projects for 2026 we want to discuss? Anybody? All right. Moving on, update from the town administrator. Skate park update. Spawn Ranch has completed the construction phase of the project. The remaining tasks, loam and seeding, will be completed by the highway department. A closeout report will be submitted in December. That might hold the world record for fastest project ever, but I'm gonna beat it with that Vito project.
Which project was that?
You know you're on
The
record.
skate park down here at the Pines.
Holding the to it.
Shanahan Recreation Area Access Improvements. This project is now complete. The final item signage has been ordered, and the final payment will be issued shortly. After all expenses, the remaining balance in this account is $217,087.04. These funds will be returned, and the project will be officially closed out. A closeout report will be submitted in December. Pines Recreation Area Access Improvements. This project is now complete. The final item signage has been ordered, and the final payment will be issued shortly. There will be no remaining funds in this account, and the project will be officially closed out. A closeout report will be submitted in December. Perry Park feasibility. WDG is providing advanced conceptual design, and we are working on Phase 2 of the project. There will be no remaining funds in this account, and the project will officially be closed out. A closeout report will be submitted in December. Cemetery monument preservation. The work has been completed and final invoice has been paid. After all expenses, the remaining balance in the account is $11,230.40. These funds will be returned, and the project will be officially closed out. A closeout report will be submitted in December. Shade and seating at the Pines Recreation Area. Shade structures have been ordered but not yet delivered to the highway yard for spring installation. And then affordable housing project, we already talked about that. Miscellaneous update, although the town clerk scan docs project is still listed on the financial report, it has been officially closed. The remaining funds of $12,237.81 will be returned. Similarly, the remaining balance of $450 from the community garden project will also be returned. Oh, that's my favorite report I think I've ever read.
Look at all those things that were
Done,
closed.
done, money back.
That's awesome.
$200,000 coming back for the Shanahan parking is great.
Yeah, it's
What was it, 8?
800 down
Down
to
to six?
five, a little.
5 and change.
5.9.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
And I-
I'm impressed.
And I'm pretty sure that had to do with working, the same company did.
It was
both
combining the
Heinz-
two.
Heinz here and there, so there was
Yeah.
a reduction in cost.
Set date and time for next meeting. We should be on the third Wednesday. That would put us at December 17th.
Monday.
Yep, Monday, right, sorry. Confusing the finance board. December 15th,
December 15th?
if that works for everyone.
Works for me.
December 15th.
6:30 PM. And we'll have our applications and a first chew at those to see what happens. All right, next up, I have approval of minutes from the 10-6 meeting. I dropped the ball and did not do those. I will get them for next meeting, my apologies. Other items not reasonably anticipated at the time of posting. I just want to do one, as they had the disbursement from the state for the CPA match, and Groveland came in at 35.3% match, meaning collected from residents was $518,874, and the match from the state was $183,059.
35.3, right?
Yes.
What number did that make us?
Oh, I didn't have time to sift through and read all of them.
No, you just have to sort it by the amount,
It's right
the
on the
percentages.
CPA Coalition website. You're,
Yes, no, I-
welcome.
but you're supposed to do that.
I'm not supposed to do anything.
Kidding you.
All good.
Adam,
Yes, sir.
do we have a, prior to this, 183, 059 from the state, what is left in each account? Because, do you have a,
I handed out a balance sheet.
no, I didn't get it.
It's here.
Oh, no, that's just for the open projects. I'll get one for the next meeting with the, up to date, with all the money being put back.
Nice.
How do we get 100% back? Like Goshen?
I think you
I
donate
think-
much less.
I think you have to be a town of 4.
You can
And
see
I'll get that for the next meeting.
you can see the significant drop from 22, 23, and then to 24, right? We
I think as more towns are getting on, our share is getting
Yeah.
less. I was gonna print the whole thing out, but I didn't have time or paper.
But looking at the percentages that everybody's getting, we're still doing well.
We still are at the higher end of the percentages.
Yeah,
I think they said, obviously, Boston had the highest match,
right.
which makes sense, because they probably took in the most amount of money. All right, other items not anticipated. Mike, you had put a scope modification in.
Yes,
If you want to just kind of go with that, that'd be great.
sure. So this is for the project from 2023, planting, maintaining, and preserving our trees, which included landscaping, Washington Street.
You want to pass that down for them to share, and this is a whole share.
This is this wonderful hog.
Yeah, to mow it.
among other places, but this specific scope modification is related to the Washington, what I call the Washington Street buffer along Washington Street at Beasley Park, the base of Beasley Park Hill. And quite a bit of work has been done there as far as placement of new trees in there and clearing out and landscaping the property. So, if you've ridden by there, you'll see that there's still a problem with invasives growing there that are difficult to get rid of without, either coming in with a tractor and digging them all up, or the only other real way of dealing with them is to cut them continuously so that they eventually are destroyed.
So you're cutting it off or removing it?
So, rather than hire a company to do it again, we've already hired, in line with the plan, hired a company to landscape that entire portion and cut back the invasive species, which dealt with quite a few of it, but there's still more there. So rather than keep hiring another company every year to keep doing that, I'm asking if we can buy a walk-behind brush hog to be able to deal with cutting that area back over the next couple of years. The expected cost will be up to $4,400.
Yeah, so Mike, real quick on that.
Sure.
I see your quote there is at 4,400.
Yep.
It's at 44. You have on the motion text, it says motion to approve up to 4,300. I'm guessing that's clerical, just a clerical.
Yes, typo.
But I don't know where you have got that quote from. I don't know if that's directly from DR. Prior to me seeing that page, I went on to their website.
Yep.
Currently, for that model, it's at 4,600, it's on sale for 4,600. And then there's a size below that's 3,800, and then I think there's another 4,000. the smaller ones are 38 and 4,000. So, I don't know if you if you go on their website, it'll tell you what kind of 6-inch weed you're looking for.
Yep.
Grass height, weed, things like that. It looks like any of those, the XL Pro with even if it's 20 horsepower, might be sufficient as well.
Yes.
So the 3,800 might be doable for you guys, but I just wanted to not short you on money if that's what you're asking, because like I said, if you're looking directly at the website and even online, I don't see anything less than, if like I said, 4,600. So if we only approve the 44, I don't want you to be shortchanged. I didn't know if you had extra money in the account or something that you.
Don't forget tax.
And with tax, they're correct.
No, but we didn't have to pay tax, so. Okay, sure, point taken. I believe that in the budget for landscaping, there remains, for that area remains 4,400, so that's why I said up to $4,400 for that. I'd, make a motion to spend up to $4,400 for a model that works the best.
You're never going to believe this, Mike.
Yes, I believe it.
Ton of questions about this.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
I have a
Go ahead.
How much was it to have the contractor come in and knock it down?
The last time it was $1,500.
And how many times more do we anticipate doing it?
No.
Forever?
No, I don't think forever. I would say, I mean, there's no way to know. but,
Well,
it could be 3, 4, 5, who knows? I think it needs to basically be done twice a year.
So I had this bittersweet stuff at my house, and the only success I had at getting rid of it was digging it out.
Yeah.
I was asking, that was my question,
And I wonder if that would be a better approach.
Digging it out,
Yeah.
digging it out.
there's problems with doing that, though.
Like what? What are the problems? The roots do not go deep.
Well, first of all,
Peeling the top 6 inches off, you get all the roots with it.
No,
And
but-
then it doesn't come back.
the first of all is the cost of doing that is, it's excessive. It's certainly not gonna fit in this budget.
And that's fine. I would like to see a cost comparison before I made a decision. Does the highway department not have
No.
equipment of this nature?
No, I spoke with the highway department supervisor, and he didn't have
And-
anything that could do that.
Is there a rental opportunity for this as opposed to purchasing it?
Yeah, you might be able to rent one, sure.
I know my dad has one of the smaller ones, and I've used it, it's a nice machine. But then, where's the machine gonna be stored? Who's gonna operate the machine? Are they insured to operate the machine? What's gonna happen to the machine when we're done? Who's gonna maintain the machine? I have so many questions.
It will be stored at Veazey Park. It'll be used by the building and maintenance employee that works there. He maintains all the other mechanical equipment. And I don't believe this requires any special certification to use it other than normal safety methods.
I don't wanna hog the floor. Does anybody else have any questions? Ed?
I think the question was, a couple questions that I had. Where's it gonna be stored?
In the garage up at
Right.
Veazey
Who's gonna
Park.
maintain it? Because these blades have to be sharpened. You're gonna have to change the oil. Who's gonna do that? And then, I got several questions, but in addition, to me, this is regular maintenance, which is not allowed under a CPC project.
It's okay to purchase a piece of equipment. It's not permissible to pay someone to maintain something.
No, what I meant was the
Yeah, no, I
removal of the invasive species seems to me like if it's going to be an ongoing issue, that's a maintenance issue.
No, but it's under this project. This project is a one-time project to get rid of the invasive species there.
Right, but what you're not understanding what I mean. I look at that as being regular maintenance, which is not, allowed under a CPC project. Regular maintenance, removing that would be like, basically it's like mowing the grass. Mowing the grass up there would not be covered under a CPC project. What's the difference between that and going in and removing some of the vegetation? That seems to me fall into the same category.
No, because it's not maintenance, it's a one-time project. It just,
Well, I mean, we were literally just talking about that, where you said that it would come back, you're not digging it up, so it would come back from time to time, and so you'd need to redo it, at intervals, maybe forever.
Perpetuity is.
no. The idea is to eliminate it by continuously cutting it till it's gone. Which, again, it's been done for 2 years. Maybe it's gonna take 2 more years to finally get rid of it. A lot of it has been gotten rid of, where the regular cutting of the grass has gotten rid of it, but there's some areas where it was excessive. And so those are the remaining areas.
So this cuts, it doesn't dig.
Yeah, right, it just
So
cuts
the
it.
roots are still,
Correct.
Yes, but if you are continuously cutting something year after year, eventually it will die. As I say in the proposal, the visit by Emma Hayes of Lovely Earth Gardening and Landscaping advised me on the best way to get rid of the invasives. And that involved keep cutting them down over a period of a few years till they're gone.
Okay. Kim, you had a question?
Yes, the way you've written this, the machine would be basically exclusively for VZ Park.
Not necessarily.
Well, that's the way it's worded.
Where does it say that?
Motion to approve $4,300 for purchase of bush hog machine to be used at VZ Park for removal of invasive species along Washington Street buffer.
Yep, does it say exclusively there?
It didn't use the word exclusively.
No.
But it doesn't say it can be used anywhere else.
Well, okay, put that in. It can be used anywhere else.
All right, now. Any other questions? Ed, yes.
I already had a discussion with the supervisor of the highway department, talking about this and telling him that the advantage of us purchasing it is that the town could use it in other places.
Oh, okay, that's just clarification.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Ed?
Who's gonna operate this? It says volunteers and, staff.
Yes.
Who's actually going to be, using this?
The buildings and grounds manager or people that he has volunteering under him.
Anybody else?
I have one concern.
Yeah,
Who gets trained on this piece of equipment? It's not like you're buying a lawnmower, you mow your front and back lawn.
again, that'll be the responsibility of the buildings and grounds person at VZ Park, in assistance with the highway department, because if they're gonna use it, they're gonna need to help us out with it too.
Anybody else? The one other concern that I had is this initial project was for historic preservation. And I see buying a piece of new equipment for historic preservation, I don't know that it fits in my mind. I'm trying to get there, but I don't know that I can. Was just my thought on it. Welcome to discuss it if you like.
Does anybody know what would be involved in digging up the,
Well, again, that's kind of why I would like to see, if it's $5,000 to dig it up, or $4,400 to buy a machine to cut it. I'd rather spend the $5,000 to dig it up and just be done with it.
Well, what he's put in here is that he did get someone consulting from a landscaping entity, a local landscaping entity, that said this is the best way to get rid of it. Better, I mean, presumably better than digging it up, which may sound counterintuitive to us, but
Well,
we're not landscaping.
again,
folks.
having dealt with it myself, my own property, the cutting it down, it just came right back. The stuff grows like crazy. And the only way to really, I literally took the top 6 inches of dirt off my entire yard. Brought it down to the DPW and gave it to them. But would you be opposed to holding this to maybe get another, get a quote on maybe digging it up instead of just pushing it through? I mean, I don't feel like it's something
Yeah, no,
we're gonna get
No.
before spring anyway.
no, right, yeah,
So if-
that's fine.
Mr. Chair, the only question I have on that is, a landscaping company said that this is the better way and would have said, I can dig it out for X amount of dollars, that would have been if that was the more efficient way. Depending on the size, right? A home area is larger, is different than another.
Yeah,
You'd
no,
think that the landscaper would have been like, yeah, I could dig it out for this much and be done with it, or I think your best course is just continue to, because it's gonna keep growing, like it might keep growing. That's my only wonder if that.
Yeah, like I say, I'd like to, I don't think it's we're not gonna buy it tomorrow and go mow the stuff down. I think it's got a springtime operation anyway. I'd like to get a little more information on it before we act, so.
Maybe we can hear more from Emma Hayes.
Perhaps.
Adam, a question on that?
Yes, sir.
Just a follow-up question. It says to be used by staff and volunteers. Who's covering their liability insurance? If somebody gets hurt operating the machine? Does the town cover it, or they cover their own?
Beasley Park has a liability policy.
Separate and apart from the town.
I think that should be filed with this paperwork so that we can see that.
Oh, well, Rebecca has it all,
Well, and, we can get it from her.
yeah, yeah.
All right, that being said, I'm gonna make a motion to table the scope modification for planting and maintaining, preserving trees until our next meeting.
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor? So tabled. All right. Any other items not reasonably anticipated? Ed, do you have anything?
I do not.
Kim?
No.
Linda?
No.
Elaine?
Nope.
I don't. Mike? Patrick?
No, sir.
Leah?
No, sir.
DJ?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Wonderful.
Picture of this lovely thing.
Motion to adjourn?
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned, 8:18 PM.
And I'm not gonna watch itself.
Thank you,
All
Adam.
right, if anybody wanted to see us.